Our default impact on any environment and people as faith based leaders must be positive, purpose driven change, fruitfulness, clarity, foresight, being a visionary, and then, of course, also creativity. Because these are your signs and markers to recognize that you are indeed plugged into the Lord and walking in the purpose He has mandated you to walk in. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Inge and I am a faith-based coach focusing on all things growth mindset. And I am of the firm belief that because God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of a sound mind, that we should always occupy ourselves with seasons of learning and growth. I just want to pause quickly and say a huge thank you to all the new subscribers to this channel. Your support means a lot, and I do pray that as you tune in to watch these coaching and teaching videos, that the content, the messaging resonates with you and it helps you to really cultivate and maintain that growth mindset, taking you from strength to strength. In addition, as well, I do apologize in advance for two things. The one is you might see the lighting change from time to time. We finally have autumn that has arrived here in South Africa. So, as a result, we do have some cloud coverage and it does block out the sun from time to time. So, that is what it is that you're saying. And then secondly, as always, I like to work off a script, just to make sure I stay on point, I stay on topic, and that I am able to land the messaging that I have been mandated to land with you. So with those disclaimers out of the way, I do pray that these coaching and teaching videos on growth mindset will help all of us just come into closer alignment with God and His purpose for us. So, if you would like to connect with me, if anything that I've said and shared in these videos resonate with you, and you're thinking to yourself, I do need a growth mindset coach, connect with me. It would be my honor and privilege to walk this growth mindset journey with you as your growth mindset coach. You can find all of my details in the description box below. Now, let's get stuck into the meat of this video. Now, I am super excited to start this new coaching and teaching series called Essentials of Faith-Based Leadership. If the excitement is not showing on my face as yet, I do have a problem with delayed emotional response. So just know and trust that it is there. It's just taking longer to reach my facial expression. Yeah. So, that being said, the previous series called Fruit of the Spirit in the Marketplace was, I believe, a great way to set the tone and also lay the foundation for us as faith based professionals to know and understand how we are to conduct ourselves in the marketplace. And just as a point of reference, I have done so in the Fruit of the Spirit in the Marketplace coaching videos, but allow me to do this here as well. When I'm making reference to the marketplace, in broad terms, I'm essentially referring to any environment where you have been called to serve outside of the traditional framework of church as we know it. So when I'm speaking about marketplace, I would typically be referring to the corporate world, the 9 to 5 job, or the entrepreneurial world. Even if you are being called into the nonprofit sector, or the, what else is there? Yeah, essentially any environment where you are serving, where you're standing in service to God, and service of His people outside of church life. So it's essentially the place where you are giving expression to your faith, and expression in terms of the purpose that God has called you to. So I do hope that that helps to create a frame of a reference for you when I make reference to the marketplace. Now, as I like to say, um, when we understand how we are to conduct ourselves in the marketplace, this is how we create purpose-driven change and impact that matters, because that is what we are called to do as people of faith. Now, let me take it a step further. This new series called Essentials of Faith-Based Leadership, it's a new series, and for those of us who are called by God into leadership positions. Now, these positions can also take on different forms, depending really on what the purpose and the related assignments are that God has set out for us to accomplish. So it could also take on different contexts. You might be called to lead a project, lead a grouping of people, lead a business. So there are different contexts that this would apply to. And as all things go with an attitude of growth mindset, I do want to encourage you to be in a constant state of learning. In other words, be a lifelong endeavor to be a lifelong learner. That way, God is able to use us, in a myriad of environments and increasingly more influential ways, more than what we knew could even be possible. Now, this video serves as the introduction to the series Essentials of Faith Based Leadership, and I am hoping to lay down a few foundational aspects for those who have been called to leadership. So let's clear up the age old debate of the difference between what a leader is versus a manager. As faith based leaders, it is essential to know and understand that there is indeed a very clear difference, especially when we're kingdom minded. So, allow me to shed some light on the key differences from a biblical perspective. Now, when leading, we will see growth and progression in our teams or our subordinates, and in their careers. We will also see forward and upward momentum in our own careers because of our obedience to God. When we are leading, we always in a posture of service to those placed under our care, and to those above us, those who are placed in authority over us, and then also those who are considered to be our peers, our colleagues. Now, when we are managing, this is where we are merely managing the status quo of the environment. Our team members do tend to end up leaving the organization in order to actually progress in their careers. So when we're just managing, when we're just keeping the status quo, we don't see that growth, we don't see fruitfulness, essentially, what I'm saying. We are merely holding things in a pause position, we're merely containing things, overseeing people and processes. So when we are leading people under our care, what we see being exhibited quite visibly then is growth and progression for all involved. So, as faith based leaders, we have to know the difference, but also be the difference. As a servant of the Lord, you possess the proxy of the one who is in control of everything. So, what this means is that Our mandate is to impact and transform the atmosphere, the environment, and the culture within which we are operating in. In other words, be salt and light to the world. If there's no marked improvement in the environment or team performance where we are operating in, then we have to realign and recalibrate back to the one who sent us out on mission. And when I say recalibrate and realign, I'm referring to our mindset first, and then our behaviors will follow. So, our default impact on any environment and people as faith based leaders must be positive, purpose driven change, fruitfulness, in other words, favor, clarity, foresight, being a visionary, and then, of course, also creativity. Because out of all of this, innovation will also be a fruit that comes out of all of this. These are your signs and markers to recognize that you are indeed plugged into the Lord and walking in the purpose He has mandated you to walk in. As I end this introductory video to this new series called Essentials of Faith-Based Leadership, allow me to share Proverbs 22:29 with you, and I'm reading this from the NIV. Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. Always remember, you have been called to create impact that matters and bring about purpose driven change. This is what it means to be salt and light in this world.